Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Big Tech Frenzy. Today's video, like you see, we're talking mainly about two different companies. If it's a shorter episode, fine. If it's a little bit longer and we get distracted with some things, maybe going through the stock draft scoreboard, these sort of fun things as a community I like to do, then we can go off and do that for an extra 10 minutes or something like this. But I mean, for the most part, a little bit structured. SoFi, Google, Nubank's got some news, PayPal, these sort of things. But yeah, that's really what I want to talk about. I don't care too much about it, Intel. I was listening for a bit and just went, you know what? The truth is, I don't care. Okay. I'm very positive on NVIDIA. Some of the commentary that I have about Google is going to prove that quite quickly, but you'll end up seeing why I'm so bullish on that company here in a minute. But first, Kyle the stock goat, okay, put out a post on X about SoFi that I think was quite interesting. Now, this is excluding data-driven investing, Chris Hager, but it has a lot of the other people. Oh, one second. Steve, do you wait till I'm live? Do you wait till I'm live to call me?
Do you think I know your schedule? I called you this morning, but you didn't pick up.
Last time you called me was in the first minute of me going live. Now you called me again within the same minute of me going live.
I called you this morning, and you did not pick up, so I tried tonight.
I was busy.
Okay, you're allowed to be busy. But don't act like, I'm like pranking you or something. I don't know when you go live.
It is, first of all, this tone is incredible to start a conversation with.
Well, what tone? I don't know what time you go live. I don't know what your schedule is.
It's been the first minute of my live streams twice in a row. Let's shoot for 3 tomorrow. I'll start at 7 or 8. You give me a call.
All right. Well, this is the time when my day starts to wind down from work. So this is when I start making phone calls.
That's fair. What's up?
No, I want to talk to you about something, but it's not a conversation for your live stream.
Okay, got you. All right, well, I sent you the link last time. I'm going to do that again. If you end up joining in, let me know.
Yeah, I was slammed last night. I'm probably not going to be able to join tonight, but we'll see what happens for tomorrow. And down with Tesla.
Bullish Google?
Of course we're bullish Google. I'm interested to see what Mr. Roy has to say about Surge going gangbusters.
I agree. I've been waiting because
I'm very interested to see what Mr. Roy has to say, considering it was a pretty big quarter for Surge.
Massive. And not just on pricing, year-over-year growth, just based on the amount of clicks. That's incredible.
I cannot say enough good things about them. It is disgusting that they are trading under 20 times earnings. It is the best deal from a value proposition in the market. There are definitely companies that you can get at a cheaper valuation, but they don't have the balance sheet. They don't have the free cash flow. They don't have the buyback program. They don't have the growth.
So what are you thinking price-wise end of year? I'm thinking 220.
I wouldn't be surprised if this doesn't even get to 210, 215, but I think that this fair value is like 250, 260.
I was going to say 260.
If you broke this company up into pieces, I think it's easily worth 250 to 300.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane that a lot of the other Mag 7 gets that valuation and Google doesn't, because people are still worried, even though they've just blown away every single bear case in one quarter.
Right. We're worried about a business segment that just did $56 billion in revenue in a quarter.
Yeah.
Think about that. The bear thesis does not make sense.
It's absolutely incredible. But dude, I'm going to get back to it. If you're not going to join, I won't send you a link, but just send me a DM or something if you...
How about you just call me later when you're off there?
Okay. Cool.
Later.
Bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the great and powerful Stephen Fiorillo. Check him out on Seeking Alpha. He's quite a prolific writer there. Literally covers like 1,000 companies. It's insane whenever you look at Stephen's workloads each and every day. And it's not what he does full time. He has a full-time job. And then on top of that, he's just following every single company. But SoFi, let's get back to it really quickly. SoFi, this is excluding data-driven investing's numbers. Okay, this is only looking at myself, Tevis, which that's not actually his that's somebody else. That's not Tevis's thing. Kyle the Stock Goat and Roy. Now, this makes me look extremely bearish that, Q2 revenue predictions, I'm by far the lowest at 834 million. SoFi Q2 net income predictions, I'm also at the lowest at 83 million. Okay. And then on member predictions, I am not the lowest. I'm one of the highest, if not tied for the highest, at 840,000. So there's some caveats that I want to make because I did not watch the actual prediction videos from my other, what data driven or what Stocko put us at as fanboys here. But there's a couple caveats that I want to put in. The actual revenue that I'm expecting is somewhere around 870 million, but there's $40 million of corporate revenue that I'm also including. Okay. So if you excluded that, I don't know if Roy did or if he didn't, I'm actually closer to 874 million. So if he didn't exclude that, then that's where we get our numbers together. If he did, he's extremely bullish, extremely bullish. SoFi's net income predictions, I'm once again going to lean closer to what I believe here, but could be wrong. And I hope that, we do get 90 plus. That would be very exciting. And then in terms of member growth, I don't know if Roy or Tevis are also seeing or if they're including churn with this or something along those lines, if these are net member predictions. Mine is not. Mine's a gross member ad, which means that I'm not including churn onto it, which could be another 30,000. Here's the problem with my numbers being the highest member counts, but the lowest in revenue compared to them. What are, Roy, Tevis, these sort of guys? I'll send them a link, actually. I'm going to see if any of them join. And let's try to figure out, because the average revenue per user that they are expecting would be so much higher than anyone could ever imagine. Crazy. Let's see here. Let's send out the link for Tevis and Roy. Come on, stream and state your case for SoFi earnings predictions, please. All right, we'll see. I have 7 cents of EPS at 83 million. If it was a little bit higher, it would be 8 cents at 90 million. But yeah, I'm at 7 cents of EPS. Average Wall Street prediction, by the way, guys, just to put it into perspective, is 804 million of average earnings. And then on top of that, you have 6 cents of EPS. Let's double check that right here. Let's go to Seeking Alpha and we can double check. All right. Sorry, flashbang. Whoa. Not like I'm already pale enough that you guys probably already have your brightness down on your screens already. But let's jump into earnings estimates. Switch that over to quarterly. 6 cents of EPS, 804 million. So, Roy, are you really saying to me right now that you're 70 million higher than what SoFi has on their top line or on their high end of their guidance? I hope he's right. Let's be fair. I hope he's right. Roy said he did back of the napkin math. What Yeah, that probably excludes corporate revenue. He's probably just doing it 3 segments put together. That would actually make him bearish compared to me. I would have 875 or whatever. Tanner, aka Mr. High Beams. Yeah. That was my nickname through high school due to my pale skin. No, I'm kidding. 8 cents of EPS. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of analysts that say that we are going to jack up margins this quarter while keeping, decent revenue. I think the highest analyst prediction is 821 million in revenue. And we got Roy coming out with 870. I don't know. He said he included corporate revenue on X. Ugh. Let's find out. Let's see if they can join. Even if we can get quick insight into what they're thinking, that would be great. Nothing yet. We will put the link out there, see if anyone joins. But I'm curious what you guys think. Kyle, I don't think Kyle's predictions are too far off. Obviously, he's very bullish. I think the thing that Kyle wants more than myself is that he is very hungry for the multiple on the company to expand, which I hope it does. But even though part of the market, and I think new investors will be able to find a higher multiple for SoFi, there's still going to be an existing investor base that potentially does hold that multiple from getting any higher. Did you ask Brad his prediction? I haven't asked Brad his prediction, but I'm sure he has one. Actually, I'm not 100% sure. He's a pretty practical guy. Brad seemingly goes off pure numbers, doesn't like to speculate too much. He's been one of the greatest, people on this, YouTube journey, whatever, that I've been able to meet in terms of just smart, balanced guy, very bullish in the picks that he picks, but never overly bullish, which can be a little bit, boring at times because you can never quite get him to express his large, outlandish bull cases because he doesn't really have them. He sticks very close to the numbers, but yeah. Roy is abnormally bullish this quarter. He's abnormally bullish for someone who has an $11 price target, which, by the way, that's a joke. He doesn't have that anymore, but there was one quarter where he suggested that maybe they should have an $11 price target, and we've never let him down from that. Let's go off on to the next SoFi story, and then we can loop back around if Roy or Tevis end up joining to explain themselves about their insanely bullish predictions, which, like I said, I hope I'm wrong. That would benefit everyone in chat, unless there's a couple people sneakily in here looking for bear cases. So the Crypto Council for Innovation just added SoFi as a new member. Okay, let's quickly go. I should have brought up here, 1 second. Let's go to the actual website really quickly and take a look at their membership. Here we go. These are the names that are on this council, which help sort of talk with regulators, talk about how they're going to bring crypto to the top, partner with each other, the whole 9 yards. So one of the things that they talked about SoFi getting involved is they talked about them as sort of a big bank. This is a traditional company that is now a part of the Crypto Council, which adds to the realness of what's going on. Even though, SoFi was using crypto before they were a bank, whenever they were a fintech, they were fully allowed to do so. Okay. But now think about them being in this space, talking with the likes of Circle, Coinbase, Kraken, Paxos, OpenSea. Like these are interesting names to start to build connections with, and hopefully position themselves to also lead to better regulation that will allow, SoFi to potentially do more in this space. So as you can see here, member benefits, shape industry policy positions, policy briefings, strategic consults, direct engagement with policymakers around the world, and share stories of crypto in action and positive change. So they're going full force in this. I think it's going to be an acquisition. I think they're going to buy a company. I don't know what it'll be. It'll have to be somewhere in their price range. I don't think it gets over $4 billion in terms of the price that they're going to pay. So, look out for that. Look out for a little bit of dilution as well. But a healthy amount of dilution if they end up getting a company that's worth its weight in the value. SoFi historically, I can think of 3 acquisitions right now: Galileo, Technisys, Wyndham Capital. And Wyndham Capital was extremely undervalued. What an amazing acquisition that was. Galileo and Technisys were purchased at quite high premiums because they knew that they needed that service, and they purchased them during moments that were higher priced for stock. So 2020, like October 2020, I think is what it was for Galileo. And then Technisys came in 22 or December of 2021, but they actually like finalized it in February of 2022. So the prices on those acquisitions were quite high. And in fact, just so you know that it's not actually my opinion on this, but the markets, is that they actually wrote it down. They wrote down a lot of the goodwill that they had on those businesses, which made quite a hit to their earnings. Few quarters back, Q3 of 2023, Q3 of 2024, I forget. What were the drops after dilution for those acquisitions? What do you mean by drops? There was dilution for both. They did stock on both Galileo and Technisys. And if you take a look at SoFi shares outstanding over time, you'll see where there's 2 large jumps. You can immediately point out the acquisitions. There's also a cap call transaction in there, which shown off quite a large bump, but that wasn't. That's more like that's more like fully diluted. If everything closed and added to their share count, that's what would be the full number. Tanner High Beams, yeah. I don't even mind that name. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at that share count really quickly, because I can sort of explain this to you guys. And let's see if I can also push back the data here. This is SoFi's outstanding common shares, and you can see how they've made large legs up. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, this right here between these 2 jumps was Technisys. This was the cap call transaction, and Galileo was before they went public. Now, there's a lot of chart crime here. This is not actually where like how it looks. I'm starting this chart at so if we remove the minimum, that's really what it looks like. Okay. So it is definitely aggressive dilution, but it's not as aggressive as this. Just to be clear, that I started it off on like 700 million. All right. And we're hoping that eventually does. Yeah, it was chart crime for sure. We're hoping that does actually end up slowing down, that they start to, use potentially buybacks or something like this, not to lower the share count for now, but something along the lines of what SoFi or what Robinhood is doing, where they stop the continuous dilution just by buying enough shares to offset share buybacks. So Block does that. Robinhood does that. PayPal does a lot more than that. But yeah. Here, one second. I'm just going to let my dog in. She's freaking out because I think it's raining and thunderstorming outside. So just going to let her in because she's freaking out. We are back. Yeah, she was pawing at the door. What did I say? Stock-based compensation. What did I say? Hey Tanner, thanks for keeping the faith with SoFi since $5. Do you think that my August 1st, 2025 calls are going to print? That might be aggressive. If Roy is right and we actually get the price or the revenue that he thinks and the net income, I mean, there might be a better chance there. That means we get like probably closer to like, what would that be, like 43%, 44% year over year? Like that's just insane. So I think the market would jump on that, but good luck either way. Let's see. The rain freaks my dog out. You know what's funny about my cat? My cat does not care about thunderstorms at all. I don't know if that's a cat like or like if other cats are like that, but Lincoln doesn't care. What's Roy's record for good earnings calls? I'm not quite sure. I guess I don't know. He's definitely been right on a lot of things. But he definitely wasn't right on Google. That's probably why he's dodging me right now, because he knows I have some Google questions to ask him. And man, Google, I'm going to be buying more. And at these prices, I don't want to like double my port. But if we ever see a large sell-off or some sort of article that comes out that severely questions, Gemini's ability to be a leading model, like for example, if this always happens, right? Like if you look at who is going to have the best model by the end of the year, I think Gemini is still number one. But if somehow either this year or next, that's ChatGPT, Grok, some other provider, then maybe that affects the multiple that Google is going to have going forward. But yeah, let's quickly buy or let's quickly talk about Google. I think that's also a very important name this week. Obviously, we saw earnings and many people listened to the call, but now we're actually starting to really take in those numbers. So I wanted to show off a couple slides just about the segments that I think are doing extremely well and people need to highlight. Google search, first of all, this was expected around 9% growth, continued drop off and potentially going into large negatives going forward. To see a reacceleration up to 11.7% is incredible. Okay. This is Q2. Reacceleration is amazing. The margin was amazing on this as well. Let's continue. YouTube ads. So not YouTube subscriptions, just YouTube ads up once again, back above 13% year over year growth rates. These are not terrible comps. These are strong comps and everything. That's another thing that I want to talk about search. There was no weak comps that enabled this to, see significant growth. This was the comp right here, Q2 of 2024. That's what it's grown 13% off of. Okay. Very, very strong. These, for people that are new to Google or potentially looking at SoFi or other names, and that's why you're here, Google makes a lot of sense in where you see the spikes. It's always in Q4, right? Holiday spend means a lot of holiday advertising. So Q4 is a strong part of their business across every single, segment of their business, other than cloud, really. YouTube ads up, reacceleration. Google Cloud up, reacceleration. Okay, this is insane. 31 to nearly 32% year over year growth. And this 32% year over year growth to 13 billion, by the way, also came with the highest operating margins that they've seen. The chat's covering it right now, but maybe you can make out 20.7% right there. So, yeah, very, very great. Subscriptions, platforms, and devices, once again, reaccelerating and not off of bad comps. These are good Q2 comps, and yet we're seeing over 20%. So we have, to some degree, Gemini coming onto this. We have Pixel devices. We have Google One. We have YouTube Premium. We have all these different things that play into this. It's an amazing part of their business, and seeing reacceleration, which is very good. Where did we not look at cloud, or is cloud? Did I not put cloud in here? Oh, no, sorry. Cloud's right here. We talked about all four: Google search, ads, cloud, subscription. Sorry, my bad. And the beauty thing about Google, such a mature business, we can essentially, bet on the fact that they're going to continue to have buybacks that actually lower the outstanding shares. They're not diluting at all. Okay, this is constantly going down. In fact, their buybacks are in the tens of billions, and now in the last 5 quarters, they've also added on a dividend onto their buybacks. So, phenomenal business. Now, the big issue that everyone said was capital expenditures. Now, this is where my portfolio comes into big play. Okay, I don't know if that's the right way to say that. It comes into big play. But essentially, my large bet in my portfolio is NVIDIA. I'm telling you guys, this AI train not slowing down at all. If you guys saw Jensen Huang on the All In podcast, if you saw Trump on the All In podcast, these sort of things, you will have seen that they are doing everything they can to make sure that America wins in artificial intelligence, and yet the whole world is buying. Google is a part of that. Everyone's focusing on these 4 big companies, but whenever it comes to NVIDIA, it's a lot more than that. But let's just focus on the 4 big companies, which means Meta, Amazon, Google, and Microsoft. Sorry. If this continues, this is the early stages of what we're seeing. If this continues, what we will see is that NVIDIA hits higher highs, $22 billion, up 70% year over year for capital expenditures, which means purchase of property and equipment, which includes chips. Now, it also includes TPUs, Broadcom's in there for sure, but very, very, very exciting. I'm so positive on big tech. I know the whole world right now, or at least all of retail investors, are looking for the next $1 billion names, $10 billion names, maybe even less than that, right? They're trying to find the next 10x. I worry about those names. Some will not do well. Maybe some will do well for you guys, and you'll make a fortune. I hope that happens for many of you. Well, I mean, all of you, but yeah. Overall, though, I do think that the large tech names, unlike the large technological transformations of the past, this one is built off the last one. This is built off of cloud, mobile, the internet, the personal computer. Okay, so I'm just very happy. Hey, Tevis, join in. We need to talk. I sent you the link. Join in. I sent you the link. You need to talk about your SoFi thing. If you see my dog, there's crazy thunder outside. So by the way, if I do get disconnected, it will be my internet getting shut off or something like this. If there's a really bad storm, but she's having a rough go right now. It's okay, baby. Lay down. You go lay down. And Tevis, you get in. Okay? You come here. I'm busy right now. You're not busy right now. You're typing in chat. Come on in. Can we see the dog? It's right here. Raina, come here. Up. Come on. Yeah, she's panicking. She's going underneath my desk. You lay down. Good girl. You are not busy. Tevis, join in. We need to hear about your predictions. By the way, Bag H20 donated $20 to put Oracle into the community portfolio. Bag, I'll make sure to purchase that tonight. Every single night, we take all the donations, we purchase them in. If you guys want to see how we are doing, which is not looking so pretty right now, because we're trying to chase smaller names. Now, Bag is not trying to chase smaller names. I think Oracle is going to do fantastically. I'm very happy with a donation like that. That fits in very, very well. But so far, we're down 8.5% in the last week, which is not maybe what you want to see. Oh, come on. No. You're going to get tied up in all my wires. Yeah, relax. Okay. 20 pounds. My bad. 20 pounds. But this is the portfolio right now. These are all the names that we have. PayPal has been skyrocketing in the amount of donations going into earnings. So we'll see how that does. But UNH, SBET number 1, SoFi number 2, Abcelera, ASTS. We will see. In terms of total returns, we're down on our first name. Abcelera is still up. ASTS is still up 31%. HIM's up 17%. What else? Those might be the big winners. Baba's up. American Eagle Outfitters. Very, very nice. And now Oracle. Wall Street bets and squeeze aside, Tanner, have you looked at Rocket Company? Not in a very long time. Like back in like 2021, I did. Or maybe 2022. I forget when it was, but I have not looked at it in years. Absolute lies, this guy. And now he's not in chat. He's watching, but he's going to say that he can't join. Here, 1 second. Hold on. I'm just going to call him. Guy's acting like I don't have his phone number. I just got to make sure that I don't dox him. Calling. We'll see. He's not answering, this guy. Hello?
Am I live on stream right now?
Of course.
Can you mute yourself for a second?
Okay. For 1 second, I will. Tevis is busy. Okay. But he should have gave us his reasons. We can hear. Yeah. Very funny. Not only did I mute in stream, but I also muted my own microphone. So you definitely didn't hear a thing. Okay, let's get back into some of the stories here. SoFi, getting back to SoFi, just added a new potential offering. This is the best, guys. Can we talk about SoFi Plus real quick? Everyone talks about Robinhood Gold and these sort of things. I even was on a call recently and people were saying, oh, you have to have a W-2 in order to have SoFi Plus. Like the misinformation is crazy. It's still happening constantly. Okay. And this part, I think, is going to be one of the best parts. They can continue to offer exclusive deals that not only offer external products that they will also get paid to offer, like, CNBC Plus subscriptions and these sort of things, which they'll get referral income from, increasing the average revenue per SoFi Plus membership, but then also offering better rates on internal products. And because the SoFi Plus audience is growing so fast, they could take those products and lower the rates for the entire audience. But SoFi doesn't feel like that's a way of saying that you are getting an exclusive deal here rather than if you were to shop the marketplace. So if they put it into SoFi Plus discounts, then you feel like you're paying for something to get a discount on. Not only that, you are either direct depositing or putting in $10 a month. There's some other way that they're getting value from their customers. Direct deposit users are worth 7x more than what another user might be for SoFi. They bring in all their money. Once their money's there, they have to spend it away. In order to spend it away, you're either doing bill pays or SoFi credit, SoFi debit. There's some other way that they're making revenue off of you. Okay. Maybe you want to invest that money, SoFi Invest. Maybe you need more money, a loan, something like this. They just compound the rate in which how much money they are making. So also why, if you guys are bettors on how many new members we're going to see this quarter, 840,000 will be what we are hoping for, because that leads to more SoFi Plus users. That leads to, continued increases in average revenue per user as they put out new products, and it also allows for better cross-sell. I'm waiting on SoFi to allow me to write cash secured puts. Supposedly, that is in the current app code, which means that they could post it anytime now. So what I would say is probably in the next month. And knowing SoFi, they have put out products live after earnings calls. So maybe be very exciting if they put it out after Tuesday. Keep that in mind. Can you talk about Nubank, Tanner? There's nothing too much to talk about for Nubank. Very positive on the company. I'm excited to see what they end up putting out. They just announced a new chief design officer. So changing up the, C-suite a little bit, but yeah, nothing too crazy. Deepens the commitment to the customer experience. We'll have to see how they continue to change their offering, but in terms of the stock price, there's a lot of Brazilian, what do you want to say, political pressure right now, or changes that are bringing not just Brazil stock or Nubank stock down, but the Brazilian markets in general. I think that those are the types of events where I'm very happy to continue to invest. So those are really my thoughts on Nubank. Everything stays the same right now. I'm just waiting on earnings results to be dropped. Talk about new, calm my nerves. There's nothing to... They are like SoFi, right? Cross-sell will continue. They'll add, 4+ million more new members, whether that's in Brazil, Mexico, or Colombia. It's all very exciting. Average revenue per user will climb for Brazil. If we see any slowdown in average revenue per user, it's actually because they're adding on too many more customers through Mexico and Colombia, mainly through Mexico. But yeah. Tanner, any chance SoFi would lower the $5,000 per month direct deposit amount? Some of us retirees don't have that amount. Well, you can pay the $10 per month, which I think just allows you to get past that. So if you have $10 a month, you don't need the $5,000 per month in terms of the deposit. What are my thoughts on Grab? I don't have too many thoughts on Grab, to be honest. I'm a bigger fan of Nubank than I am of Grab. That's pretty much my only thoughts that I'm holding on to still. Are you thinking about adding PayPal again? Yes. I'm happy to wait out to see earnings on Tuesday, the 29th. We can wait and see. But if they not reaffirm guidance, but increase guidance, show off high revenue growth, higher than expected, better EPS, I think that PayPal, like Alex Kress is an amazing leader, and I would love to hold some shares on that sometime. Sorry, I'm getting a little distracted. How about this BMNR strategy? Yeah, good. No, I'm actually pretty positive on Ethereum right now. I really am. What are your thoughts on having no thoughts on Tencent? I just I'm happy with companies in within the Americas. I mean, 90% of the companies that I hold are in the US of A, and then I have one company in Canada and two companies in South America. So that's sort of my thing. I maybe there's some Chinese names out there, but there's so many political risks that have torn those companies down. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Um, when is the Soundhound deep dive, or is that still a thing? Honestly, I took some initial looks, didn't like the valuation. They're growing very, very fast, but the valuation still is peaked. So, well, paying that type of price, I'd probably be more comfortable holding on to something like CoreWeave or Nebius or something like this. That is, similarly very expensive, but also in markets that are more, I guess, defined. That's just the way I thought about it. Uh, what do you think is a good entry point for Tesla allocation? I am decently bearish right now after that last quarter. I wanted allocation. Now I feel like I'll want allocation, around the 200 range. And I don't mean 280. I mean like around 200. Maybe that's 225, something like that. I'd feel more comfortable. Doesn't mean that Tesla won't work, but will Tesla work with that margin of safety that I feel comfortable picking up shares with? Because Google, I feel like I've got a massive margin of safety. So whenever I'm allocating new capital right now, it's like, dude, I get to pick between a company that's just dominating and no one expects them to dominate, and they're beating on every single front, and everyone thinks they're going to die. That's a good way to buy companies. Tesla right now, I think the high majority of investors believe they're going to win. Clearly, I mean, it's $1 trillion company, and the actual earnings are like they just keep getting pushed back. I mean, it's been like 2 years now of people waiting on a reacceleration in the car markets, and now you're hearing Elon say, "Hey, it's going to be another 3 quarters of just crappy quarters, and we're just going to have to wait." Okay, so if we can wait, I'm going to wait. What makes Tesla fall to 225? I mean, I would think what we just saw for the last 2 quarters would make it drop down to 225. Yeah. See how slow the car markets actually get whenever the incentives dry up. That could potentially slow car sales even further. Maybe that. Some sort of, change to their robo-taxi rollout extensions there. They just extended Optimus rollout, said that there was going to be what was it, 1 million bots by 2029 something, or I forget the entire, what was it, 2027, something like this. And then it ended up getting pushed out even further. So I don't have the numbers in front of me. I'm just going off the top of my head. But that got pushed back. Robotaxi seems to be accelerating to, we're going to get into the cities that house half the US population by the end of the year. I just don't believe it. We've seen one ride without a human driver in the vehicle, and it was being paraded through with a myriad of safety vehicles behind it, to self-deliver a car to someone's home. I want to see that happen more often. I want to see them set up, even if it's in Austin, in a small thing with no safety driver. Do what Waymo's been doing, you know? But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful for the future. It's just I can also bet on companies that are doing a lot for the future, like Nvidia, and I don't have to pay that multiple, and they're growing faster and have higher margins. And the end game of where that goes is probably just as important as Tesla. Trillions of dollars of spend, absolutely insane. Like, people don't think that the market size is going to change, or the things that Nvidia ends up doing is going to change. I mean, the amount of networking revenue that they make now, which wasn't there years ago, is insane. If you don't think that Jensen's going to try to get into other business models as well, take on new total addressable markets at higher margins, I mean, why would he sit on his hands? Less drama with Nvidia. I hate drama. Investors should hate drama. That's the whole thing, right? Is you know, uncertainty kills markets. Investors are good with good news. They're good with bad news. They hate uncertainty. Drama is uncertain. Elon came out and said, "Hey, you know what? It's full-time wartime mode. I'm working in the office. I'm sleeping on the factory floors again. Game on." And then like 3 weeks later, he goes, "I'm creating a third political party, and we're going to create a party for the 90+% of people who are in the middle." And then a little bit after, they said, "I'm back to 7 days." So that is uncertain. I don't care if you're positive or not. I mean, but that is a little bit uncertain. Anthony Noto is a no drama CEO. Yeah, he's so much no drama that he, yeah, absolutely. He doesn't talk enough to create drama. But they are in sort of a quiet period right now. So I cannot wait for Tuesday. I honestly kind of want to do something along the lines of just doing like a crazy long stream that day. Just go through every single statistic, build out my spreadsheets, go over PayPal's numbers. Tuesday is going to be a busy day. And then the day after that, we have Robinhood, Microsoft, Meta, Qualcomm. Crazy. We are getting into the thick of it in terms of earnings season. Right now, so far, so good. Okay. Even the parts of Tesla's earnings that I did like was the amount of talk that they talked about with NVIDIA. They're buying chips, man. They keep buying chips. Tanner, I'm driving all Monday. Please do this. Yeah, I mean, I'll think about it. Noto needs to invite you to his earnings calls. I think because they're a regulated bank, that's not going to happen. But I did hear from another company recently that they are thinking about inviting me. Fingers crossed. That would be awesome. That would be freaking awesome. I'm just waiting to hear. But yeah. I meant Tuesday, not Monday. Okay, good. SoFi dump on earnings. I'm actually on the pump side of things. I think that things will go very well, but I could be wrong. You know, we have seen quite the run up into earnings, but it's kind of stayed flat. If it continued to run, I'd be worried. Okay, if we were going into there, $25 per share, these sort of prices. But what are we? Are we under 21 right now? 21.51. Okay, well, yeah, I still think that we'll be pretty fine at these prices, as long as it's not headed to like $25 before earnings. I think we'll be fine. SoFi will have its moment. Dude, we're up 70+% in the last 3 months. You go just a couple more days, and we're up 130%. SoFi's having its moment. Well, last time, I think this is why they changed it from a Monday to a Tuesday, is that Monday we were getting killed because there was so much potential for news drops during the weekend. I think that's why they stopped doing those Monday streams. So putting it on Tuesday kind of makes it so then we're not going to see too much, change from because that has killed a lot of the momentum on many SoFi earnings. Not that their earnings weren't great, but it was coupled with some other piece of news that happened during the weekend. Roy is calling for 45.6% year-over-year growth. I hope he's right. But that's bullish. That's bullish. And then on top of that, I think he's calling for like 8 or 9 cents of EPS. If that's what happens, any of the talk of him being even remotely bearish has to go away. Let's see if Roy can end up joining the stream. Haven't heard from him, so not sure. Let's send it a quick DM. Find out what Roy's doing. He can explain himself. 45% year-over-year growth. Okay, we've sent out the invite. Now we await the response. I think he said 6 cents of EPS. Well, I don't know what he's thinking for dilution, but he said something like 93 million. That's over 8 cents of EPS. So, yeah. Steve says trying to make up for Google. Don't know what you mean. Can you look at SoFi's institutional ownership increases over the last month? I actually think it's been decreasing. We can take a look, but I think it has been decreasing. Let's see. SoFi. Why is it not popping up here? Institutional ownership. There we go. Yeah, I mean, we haven't had data too recently. It has been in July, but it was mid-July here. And we've been on a little bit of a downtrend recently as the stock has continued to spike up. But I'm not really worried about that. What I care about is if we are just getting shorted into oblivion. And hopefully that's not the case anymore. If Roy's 45% year-over-year growth happens to be right and SoFi stock still tanks, I'm going to lose it. Yeah, but what does an investor do if that does happen? Right? What should we logically do? Because I would think then fundamentally the company is doing what they should be doing. If this includes, no piece that ends up ruining the entire pie, they're selling the tech platform or something. I would buy more. Yeah, buy more. Companies always revert to their fundamentals eventually. Some newer investors have to learn that. They think that the markets are all a casino. It's all sentiment driven. It's not true. It might be in the short term, but in the long term, it's very much a real thesis or real fundamental driven business. Chip Diamond says Europe deal Monday, SoFi beat Tuesday morning. That would be great. What would also be great is if SoFi also shows off a Europe deal through Galileo. There's been a lot of talk that potentially we've closed on some banks in Scotland and all of these things. That would be very interesting. But yeah. I would not worry about SoFi looking at it via a PE ratio. I think that that's the wrong way to look at it. If we look at, a peg ratio for SoFi, even if you are a little bit bearish, you're still around like a 1.2x peg. If you're more bearish, you're around 1 times or even a little less than 1x peg. So I would not worry about that. The future, we will grow in. If you think about EPS right now, we're expecting 30 cents. Well, Wall Street's expecting like 28 cents, but let's imagine that you are looking for 32 cents of EPS. And then next year you're looking for 68 cents on average. Maybe we get up to 80 cents. That's an incredible growth rate on a PEG ratio. Steve donated SoFi with $10. Steve, thank you so much. Really do appreciate the donation. We'll make sure to put that in the community portfolio. Buy a little bit of SoFi with it. Thank you, my friend. Do you see anything in today's market that looks like SoFi did at 6? Kelson, no. Not really. See, markets change with like if you look at the total PE of the S&P 500, that's fluctuated quite a lot. So if you compare back to 2022, early 23, markets were much cheaper than they were today. People cannot continuously slam out, these crazy multiples on companies but that's what the market is chasing, by the way. Retail investors come in, they see how much money has been made on these other stocks, and then they look for $1 billion companies, $2 billion companies that are going to 10, 20, 30x. Okay. The truth is that companies just get more expensive at times, and then other times they get way undervalued. Doesn't mean that things aren't available for purchase today that are cheap, but maybe they're a 40% upside. Maybe they're a 50% upside or something like this. And you can find that asystemic value. But I would say a company that looked like SoFi at 6, screaming by, unbelievably undervalued, Wall Street just didn't understand the business at all, you'd be hard-pressed to find those names. SoFi should be where Affirm and Upstart are at. I agree. In terms of a multiple, I do think that they probably should be priced a lot closer to Affirm. Affirm has risk as well, so SoFi has that ability to cross-sell into other products. They've got a great institutional product. And Upstart, people get very excited about Upstart, and I think that they will do well. But really, SoFi is going to clear them in their own game. And I think that that's important to highlight. Does New offer crypto? Yes. And in fact, a lot of their customers are very, very excited about stablecoins. They also own their own stablecoin called NewCoin, or I don't know if it's a stablecoin, but they offer their own crypto called NewCoin, which they use as a rewards-based system. SoFi should be above Chime. We are above Chime. We are very much above Chime. It's just some people bet up Chime a little too much on a multiples basis. But we are a bigger company. I don't think so about New having crypto. See, I'm wrong. That's okay, man. I've been following New for a long time. So yeah, that no problem there. Could SoFi possibly buy a Bitcoin mining company? I almost guarantee no. Will they buy a crypto service, crypto custody, crypto payments type business? Yes, I could see that. Institutional trading platform, brokerage? Yes. Are they going to get involved in an asset heavy, owning chips and trying to get into this for Bitcoin? Honestly, if they did, I think I'd probably sell SoFi. Meaning there's a 0% chance of that happening. Tanner, can you say something nice about the passing of Hulk Hogan? No, I don't know him. He's the brother guy. I don't know. I don't know anything about him. Kraken's too big for SoFi to acquire. I would venture that bet. They're probably of similar size now, or at least 10 billion. 10 billion, something like that. Shopify, is it overvalued? I think that they're an expensive company, but I'm getting roasted for my Hulk Hogan knowledge. Guys, I was not around during that time. Obviously pro wrestling was popular whenever I was young, but Hulk Hogan was like in the first iterations of the WWE, wasn't it? I'm 27. I was born in 97. I was not watching whenever I was directly born. I'm not slandering the Hulkamaniac, okay? This is before my time. Okay. Shift4 or Shopify to buy right now? I think they're just two different businesses. I think that Shift4 is an amazingly compelling valuation. They'll continue to grow, but I also think that the market will, throw a little bit of shade at them, throughout their history. Shopify will always be expensive, but they'll be a market leader forever. That's what I'm betting on. I'm 17 and I know Hulk Hogan. I know Hulk Hogan with the handlebar mustache. Like I watched the WWE documentary that happened really recently. I think it was actually on the owner. I would know him. I can see his face. I can't remember his name right now. But yeah. Tanner, you should have gotten born earlier. So true. Did you see Trump with J-Pow today? I did. Holy. There's going to be a lot of memes born out of that. Guys, I'm 28. Yeah, Vince McMahon. That is it. Thank you. Let's see. All dude had to say was Rip. I'm sorry, guys. You know what? I'm sorry for your loss. Or what? I don't even know if he was like. There were some people saying that there was some pretty controversial. I don't know. You just shouldn't talk online about things you know nothing about. Okay. No, I'm 27. Did I say I was 28? I'm 27. Yeah, they would have started a fight. Okay. SoFi to new highs after earnings. So it is weird. SoFi's high, I think, is like 2380, something like that. But IPOE, which was the SPAC ticker. So, okay, for people that don't know, SoFi did not come onto markets the usual way. They got SPAC'd onto the market via Chamath Palihapitiya's social capital, which means that they merged with another business that was already public and took their spot in public markets. Now, there's a whole other financing part of it, and it's not that clear, but essentially you get through with different rules and cheaper costs. But essentially, SoFi was one of those. An IPOE, whenever it was just a holding company for a business that was going to come online, people didn't know what company was going to come through. Okay, so that ticker got up to like $28 a share. Once it actually came through and turned into SoFi, the highest SoFi's price was, I think it was $23.80. So we are closer to a new all-time high than people expect. No, CTX, you didn't listen to a single word I said. Not a single word. I'm talking here. People catch like one thing. They catch like a sentence and they're like, you're wrong, actually, and didn't listen to the rest of what I had to say. Also, once again, Chamath's company is Social Capital. They brought on a business called Social Finance, which is SoFi. But I did not get Chamath's company's name wrong. It's Social Capital. And so you guys are going to drive me crazy. I'm not asking. I'm no longer asking. Okay? Chamath, the owner of Social Capital, brought IPOE via SPAC, which turned into SoFi, which its high was like $23.80. Jeez. Okay. That being said, regardless of... Oh, Roy just sent me a beautiful photo of his family. I'm not going to put it on screen just in case he wants to remain a little bit private, but he is out with dinner with his beautiful family, living his absolute dream life. So he won't be joining. That's perfectly fine. Guess it's just me and you guys that have no social lives. No, we do. We're working when everyone else is doing their own thing. Are they all bearded? Where's Steve? Yeah, I should send Steve a link. We can see if he joins, but from my understanding is he was pretty busy. I would like to hear more of his thoughts on if he ended up watching Intel's earnings. I didn't really take a good listen. I tried to at the start, and then I was like, oh, no. Don't even care to. Steve, the milkman, Pokemon enthusiast, stock connoisseur, anything that you could remotely call an asset, not excluding the milk part, he's interested in. He's just got a little bit of a dairy fetish right now, where he's just half of the things that he consumes is milk, cheese, yogurt, or some other form of, I don't know. I'm lactose intolerant. We have honestly nothing in common. We'll see if he joins. Yeah, and chicken parm. Okay. Bring in Didi. I don't think that he is. I mean, we can see. Maybe I'll reach out. But supposedly, from what I heard from him, is that he's very busy these days, and that's why he hasn't been able to upload too much. We can see if he's going to join Talk Some SoFi. We'll send out the invite. Okay, sent. Who else makes common predictions on SoFi as well that we could potentially reach out to? Couch investor? He's probably pretty interested in SoFi, no? Anthony Noto? Let's get Anthony Noto in here to ask about the predictions on SoFi. Let's get his thoughts. Send me the link. Mine includes corporate revenue. Crossroads. What? So you're expecting $900+ million if you add up the three segments of tech deals, financial services, and lending? How does that work? Are you I think there could be large growth on the tech platform sooner than we expect, because I think they still expect some level of teens growth by the end of the year, and currently we're at like 7%, if that. So that's the only thing that I would say, is that like there could be more tech growth than what I was expecting. There's not going to be as much loan platform business as maybe what some people are pricing in. They said that there would be no overlap of the two Fortress deals. I think that gets people's targets off a little bit. I have a beginner question. What is the primary way that a public company raises capital if their stock price goes up? I mean, dilution, selling shares into public markets, I guess, would probably be the primary way. You could do, what is it called? Whenever it is debt, but they can pay it in cash, like a mix. What is that called? Convertible note. That could be interesting, or a common way that companies do it. But yeah, they have to sell more shares. So what's interesting is a lot of people think that whenever company stock goes up, that the companies are making lots of money from that. They're not making a single dime from that, right? It's like Pokemon cards or something like this. Like once they're sold to the convenience store gets to, sell them whatever. But if I go to my friend and say, hey, you want to buy this card for $20, and I just bought it from the convenience store for $2, the Pokemon company doesn't make any money from me selling it to my friend. That's what the stock market is. It's a secondary market. We're just trading hands with other people. That doesn't make those companies money. But they can end up selling out more shares or doing these things. It helps with, better talent if the stock is going up. It helps with, if you are going to do secondary raises, stuff like this, that those could be at higher valuations. That would be much better. Evan, good to see you, brother. Great to see you. Look at Doogie Pie being so nice to you now. She wasn't in the last stream. Now she's calling you Sweetie Pie Evan. She's very selective on who she calls Sweetie Pie Evan. Why should I not bet my life on AMD, Google, SoFi, and Amazon? Why should I not bet my life? Well, I mean, that's a strong choice of wording. AMD, Google, SoFi, and Amazon. Those are some extremely good picks. I like them all. You've got semis on 3 of them. Okay. You have fintech, finance, and Amazon and Google are such large diversified businesses. That's the funny thing, is there used to be an investing strategy back in the day where you wanted a little bit of, different sector diversification, different product diversification, and then different geographical diversification. Now, you don't really hear a lot of people talk about geographical diversification, stuff like this, because Amazon sells to the entire world. Google's across the entire world. They have 2 billion monthly active users across 200 companies in 40 separate languages. That is geographically diversified. So, bet your life. Strong wording, but I like all those names. I think that they will all do well into the future. Thanks for the donation, Woods. I appreciate that. And cloud. You're so right. But that's sort of built into the chip part, right? AMD's got the chips. Google and Amazon have the cloud. Another sip of water. Where's my water people? They're supposed to be reminding me to take sips every 5 minutes. Carl said he's going to bet that guy's life. What are your thoughts on Dave's current stock price? I don't really have any thoughts on Dave. I haven't looked at their financials in a very long time. To the people who have bet on Dave, congratulations. That's been insane. There were some concerns about early wage access and these types of products getting potentially regulated away. So I haven't really looked at them since that, but we'll see. I think early wage access products are scary going forward. Obviously, there's a lot of deregulatory stuff that's going on, but charging people in order to get their money early is an extremely high cost to get something that probably should be yours in the first place. And then in a stablecoin environment where you can make instant settlement, these types of companies block. Robinhood even makes like something like $100+ million a year on instant withdrawal. All these products, I think, are going to go away. Dave makes a ton. Block makes a ton doing this. I think that's going to go away. PayPal makes a crap ton through early wage access or instant withdrawals, mainly, I should say, for some of those. But yeah. I told y'all it was social. Okay. Whatever, man. I'm guessing SoFi pulls back 5%, then goes back up on earnings day. But would you acquire shares during that 5% pullback if we do see that either tomorrow or Monday? I'm pretty happy with the current position that I have. If we do see a sell-off, and I mean on great earnings, like if we see 900 million of revenue before corporate revenue, like what Roy is expecting, 840,000 new member, like it's a complete blowout, and somehow the market still takes it down, I'll put in a lot of money. I will be ready. But yeah, I'm not opposed to buying in $20+ ranges. It's just I can be a little bit more selective right now because I do have such a sizable position already. For me. Will it beat Upstart earnings? In terms of what? In terms of just sheer like performance? I think that the move that SoFi is going to have, or the beat on expected earnings will be higher than Upstart's. How about that? The surprise will be higher. Great earnings pump, Powell Wednesday dump. Yeah, maybe that's a good way to look at it. I mean, Jacob, you can say that it's not going to dump, but historically, there has been some days where, even in pre-market, like we've seen pre-market stocks up 20%, 15%, like crazy numbers. And then once the market opens, it sells off completely because institutional investors have a different story, or they have a different, they want to do something a little bit differently there. Evan, good show, by the way, earlier today. I do a podcast with Evan, so we ended up touching on a lot of Google, a lot of Tesla, these sort of names. It was very good. I just didn't have enough. I needed to talk even more about Google these days. Can we get into some bigger tech names, though, because we have some other stuff that I wanted to touch on. First off, AI's Apollo LiDAR joins NVIDIA's Drive platform. So LiDAR says that its Apollo LiDAR is now integrated into NVIDIA's Drive AGX platform, opening doors to automakers building autonomous and driver assistance systems. Apollo offers 1 kilometer detection, works behind windshields, and allows over-the-air updates without hardware swaps. AI plans to share more on Apollo in its upcoming Optis AI solution during its July 31st earnings call. Cool. Another thing that strengthens the NVIDIA, brand. This is why I continue to bet on NVIDIA. Like everyone's talking about the, you and Brad is a good combo. I don't know. Brad's good enough on his own. I add very little. But what's it called? I was just going to say that thing that people are underestimating so much, I think, from NVIDIA is what they can do on the self-driving side and robotics side. And everyone's focused on the data centers right now, the AI factories. But I think that we're actually going to see a lot from the Drive platform. A lot. I'm hoping for 12 cents of VPS. Keep praying, Byron. You'll be praying for a long time. Quarters. No shot anyone here has the stones to buy SoFi's dip. All right. Well, I think you're not believing in the audience nearly enough. I think we're pretty onto buying some SoFi dips for sure. NVIDIA or AMD, which one will move faster? Faster implies that they both are going to do the same level of like this is what I at least am interpreting this as is stock price. Where what I would say is that I think that the chance that NVIDIA succeeds is much higher than AMD. So although AMD is a much lower market cap, so people think that it can run more, the idea that they keep their level of market share is not guaranteed as much as I think that that is the case for NVIDIA. So I continue to bet on NVIDIA, knowing that, they are the market leader, which leads high talent to continue to come back, which allows them to have better partnerships. They're essentially unstoppable is all I'm saying. So I really like NVIDIA, but whenever people only price in upside and don't price in downside, then they get excited more about AMD over NVIDIA. But I like thinking that there is no risk associated with NVIDIA for the most part. Payush donates SoFi Technologies to the community fund. 96 hours until earnings. Yeah, and I mean, only 48, or well, not 48, but only 2 more days of actual market opens until that actually happens. Payush, thank you so much. We will do a stream on the community fund here in a little bit. Hopefully we can turn it around. I think once if SBET starts to have really, really great days, this can make up for the portfolio swinging back around in very quick succession. So that does, mean that Ethereum has to turn around. But at a $23 price range, it's much, much better than what we ended up getting it at like 37. So I don't know. Curious what the NAV on SBET is then, or currently. Maybe it's worth looking into for my own portfolio. Not for a very big bet. I mean, for very, very small bets. Small. Your thoughts on the semiconductor sector? Come on now. I mean, if you guys don't know already, you're crazy. There were so many retailers that had bad taste for early on and sold and ran up. I hope we were past that. 24% cash? No. So this is just the community fund. It has to be funded with cash in order to make these trades. So I make sure, because I have to purchase them every single night, that I, pre-fund it. So this is just me having cash on the side to put in. But this is not like your guys' donations sitting here on the side in cash. This is actually my money waiting for people to assign it to different stocks, if that makes sense. This is just the community fund. This is not my portfolio. This is the community portfolio, which we're underperforming right now, but we just got started. I believe in you guys. Okay? You can do it. And we might even have the perfect mix. This might be the perfect combination of 77 companies. Chat, Evan's going to try to convince you to get Honeywell while it's cheap. Chat, we're dumb. Okay, never mind. How do we find the fund? So it's on Savvy Trader. You can see it down below. I have a link. I think it's futureinvesting.pro/portfolio. If I just go to that really quickly, /portfolio. What ends up coming up is a Notion page that I've created, this, which just goes through what you're going to end up seeing here. So all the donations, this is all from yesterday, the days before, everything like this. These are all the, chats that people wanted. So Payush yesterday said, hey, get up fintech. That's why I always am taking screenshots and stuff. You can see in here just the rules and stuff. Has to be at least donations of $10. They have to be listed on US exchanges. They have to be $1 billion market cap, no leverage or inverse ETFs, options, cryptocurrencies, preferred shares, stuff like this. One donation per stock. All right. And then all the disclaimers just for entertainment. This is just to see if you guys can beat, not if, there's no distribution or something like this. This is not a fund. It's just a fun portfolio. Tanner, I need to leave and watch a WNBA game. All right, man, you enjoy. Yeah. It's literally Doogie Pie. It is. Doogie Pie's made all her money in the WNBA. Managing this looks like a nightmare. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've done nothing but lose a ton of the money that I've been making on donations to not just picking the things that go down, but like YouTube takes a cut. I'm gonna have to pay taxes on all the donations too. Like it is income. And then what's left over is me buying like freaking, I don't know, some extremely small $1 billion healthcare names and stuff like this. So, but it's just fun. I think like the community has sort of come together, really, really enjoyed it. YouTube takes a cut, but you own Google shares. It's true. It's like that meme. Yeah. Yeah. But I think it's fun. No tax on tips. Yeah, I mean, is that what that is? Does that work for like a digital tip? Is that a digital tip? I mean, it would be, right? You were better off using donation money on SoFi only. I mean, almost guaranteed. Like, if we did end up doing just a donation, all donations go towards SoFi stock. That probably would save me way more of a headache. Or maybe we'd have like a weekly stock or something like this. Maybe I'll end up doing that. The reason is that, guys, I think so. Let's talk about the stock draft really quick. This is really important. Not really important, but this is important. We ended up doing a 2025 stock market draft, which you can see here. The 5 contestants who were involved, Matt, Steve, Tanner, Amit, and Chris. We are all investing in these individual companies. So Amit ended up picking these 10. Matt ended up picking these 10. He's actually winning right now. He ended up getting SoFi. My bad. And it was an elimination version of a stock market draft. This was one of the best, like, this was the most fun stream I had ever done. Okay. But with this, it goes to show that, like, I think even large names, the Nvidias, the, Coinbase at the time, TSM, TTD, even if you want to call that a big name, but like, there's still so much more money to be made on the huge names. Whenever Amit picked Hood at 76, people were like, oh my gosh, that's expensive. And now he's up another 30+%, even just betting on a name that worked. AMD worked big. I mean, these seem obvious in hindsight, but that wasn't necessarily the case. Now, Matt's doing amazing things because these smaller companies are definitely running a lot. I mean, Abceller up 58%, Rocket Lab up 81%. He took SoFi from me. Okay, if I would have switched out ServiceNow, which honestly, amazing earnings, and I'm a very happy shareholder of this business, but if I would have switched that out, he would have been down essentially another 4+%, unless he picked something else that was equally as good. And I would have been up an additional 4+%, something along those lines, out of the total, like 44% on that name, but divided out of the 10 names. So I would be somewhere closer to 15% if I would have picked SoFi. And maybe he would be closer to somewhere around 17, 16%, depending on what else he picked. But who knows? That was my mistake. Chris didn't have fun? Not yet, but Chris is a great stock picker. Right now, it's not looking great for him, but I would not count him out. Okay. UNH is still down 10%. Axon's down 10%. Take Two is down 5%. Novo Nordisk down 8%. Yeah, he's picked a lot of healthcare names, that's for sure. Google will do really well for him over time. I think, honestly, a lot of his names I do like for a year out. Oracle is up 15%. That'll continue to do well. Yeah. Tanner, will you be doing a stock price prediction for Q2? My stock price prediction would literally be as good as yours. I have no clue. I think the people who are able to guess those sort of things, like, honestly, just like, how are you able to do it? As a fundamental long-term believer or investor, I am betting on the company going up over a long term. What do I suggest that the stock does in the next 48 hours? I don't know. BlackRock could come in and just, double their stake. Warren Buffett could take a position. It's not really what I'm into. Kevin with a life-saving $10 donation for SoFi. We need more SoFi, Tanner. Make it happen, good sir. Absolutely, Kevin. Right away. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you supporting the channel. And we'll happily pick up some SoFi. Chris will make a comeback. He will. I think so. He's a great stock picker. Um, yeah, 2 to 3 quarters can change everything. However, I'm extremely confident on my portfolio over the next 2 to 3 quarters. Okay. I'm potentially less confident in Chris's portfolio. I think if we end up seeing or not Chris, Matt's portfolio, if we end up seeing a downturn, his companies are going to get severely hit. Mine, I don't even think will get hit. Like, maybe some advertising names that I have, App, TTD, these sort of ones might end up getting hit. But TSM, ASML, NVIDIA, where are those names going? AI will definitely be here for the next 2 to 3 quarters, full steam ahead. Yeah. What do I think about Bloom Energy? I don't think much about Blue Energy. However, I did just see an article today about them saying that Blue Energy is going to power Oracle AI data centers with fuel cells. Bloom Energy will deploy its fuel cell tech at select Oracle cloud infrastructure data centers across the US to help to support booming AI and cloud demand. These systems can deliver clean on-site power for full data centers within 90 days. Sorry. They are going to strengthen their energy portfolios at scales to gigawatt level AI data centers. Bloom has over 1.5 gigawatts installed globally and says that this deal offers Oracle reliable, fast deploying power with no air pollution or water use. Wow. It's not a name that I track. Like you guys know, or maybe if you don't, I'm not too big into energy names, but maybe this is the type of thing that I need in my portfolio, as I am looking for things that do well in the data center space. That's for sure. Now, it did take quite a hike up today, up 23%. The last 5 days, up 36%. Last month, up 43%. I mean, it's climbed a lot. That's the problem that I hate having to pay for these names. It's just the cost of it is crazy. But over the next little bit, I mean, currently AI data centers, according to recent research, makes up for about 2.5% of all the energy use in the United States. And they think that's going to climb to over 10%. Okay. So a 4x in the amount of, like the total amount of energy. Well, whenever you tack on that there are specific names that try to help with this specific problem, maybe they deserve a premium. Maybe they have a price to earnings of 1,600 times. But the truth is, I don't know the PEG ratio. I don't know their growth rates. Vertical integration, Tanner. Yeah, but do you mean vertical integration like for my portfolio? Like almost a supply chain worth of share of companies? Have you ever sold SoFi shares? Not once. Not once, baby. See these hands? These are diamond hands. Diamonds. Um, if you had to bet from this point, or who does better between Matt and Chris, who would you pick? I mean, Matt has a pretty strong advantage. I'd probably just double down on saying Matt. Hey Tanner, any ideas on Nebius? Not too strongly. Obviously, they play a lot of different roles in artificial intelligence. It's an expensive but probably pretty obvious long-term bet on AI. If you don't worry about any political risks or anything like that, which are probably overblown. Diamond hands for Tesla too? No. Nope. No diamond hands for Tesla. Sold that crap. wish you good luck going forward. But I'm not married to. I'm not actually diamond handing any companies, really. I think that if a company does well, I don't want to sell them. If they do poorly, drop it. That's how I feel. Tesla's doing not so well right now, and then they just came out on the earnings call and said, "Hey, we're not going to continue. We're going to continue to not do well." Okay. Yeah, the correct statement is paper hands, marshmallow hands. Yeah, don't be emotionally connected to anything. If I am emotionally connected to anything, it's Shopify. I just love the company. Just love it. But if they start doing bad, I'll drop them too. I didn't realize until now that Warren Buffett completely sold his new bank in May. Correct. But it probably wasn't even his decision at all. Nor will he be the CEO. AMD to 200 before NVIDIA to 200? Maybe. We'll see. I'm not as certain on that, but we'll see. Just in the last couple of weeks, like, yeah, AMD has been moving alongside AMD, but like NVIDIA is adding AMD's market caps on good days. Like, it's incredible how big NVIDIA is. Maybe people don't see it that way, but maybe they should. Yeah. You know, if we just take a look here, NVIDIA in green, AMD in blue, they actually run pretty parallel to each other until you start to go out too far, in which they get pretty disconnected. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm going to continue to bet on the winner. And it looks like they run in parallel right now anyway. We'll see. Is it Tuesday yet? Yeah. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, if there is no other questions, I think that that's where we should wrap. What do you guys say? I'll see you tomorrow. We hopefully will have some interesting interviews on this channel soon. Some interesting new types of shows. I think there'll be quite the change to the schedule. Maybe we need to create a more sturdy schedule in terms of when you guys know that I'm showing up, when things end, the topics that we're going to talk about, but also things like Mondays and Fridays don't have as much news. Most of the heavy news gets dropped Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So those will definitely continue to be big tech frenzies. But with the Mondays and Friday shows, I'm just wondering if maybe, especially on Friday, like Monday, at least we could talk about what has happened on the weekend. But on the Friday shows, maybe we get into something along the lines of like little deep dives and stuff like this on different companies. That might be interesting. A lot of the times we talk about the stories, we don't get into the financials a lot. I do on the back end for a lot of my names, but we don't often talk about that because it's hard for me to put up all the slides and everything that I'm looking at. But maybe if there's a way that we can do that on a weekly basis, that might be fun. If you guys want that, make sure to hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel already, come on. I didn't have anything to say. Thank you guys. I do appreciate your time. Hit the like if you think I deserve it. Bye for now.